All right, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It helps me out a bunch. But today we're going to be hitting arms. Now, arms for me, I wouldn't say they're a lacking area, but they're for sure an area that could come up to par with some of the other muscle groups like my back and chest and shoulders. So I do want to work on them. And so I would typically start my arm days with triceps because I think they should be prioritized. They make up a big portion of your arm. And also I think my triceps could just come up a little more. But I often find that it's a little harder to get my triceps pumped up when I lead with them. And some of the movements like skull crushers and such can be like pretty gnarly when I start out with triceps. Just I'm not warmed up enough, my elbows don't feel good. So I've been starting with biceps the last couple of weeks, and that's actually felt really good. Now I'm not going so ham that by the time I get around to triceps, the muscle I actually really want to work, I'm not going so ham on the biceps that I'm super fatigued out. So the biceps today is going to consist of a preacher curl. I think preacher curls are the best thing you can do for your bicep. It's just so isolated. There's no chance of you swinging the weight or cheating any reps. It's like, can I curl this weight? Yes or no? Now, you do have to be careful. You do have to make sure that you get some proper warm up with doing a preacher curl. But I really enjoy them because they're literally just biceps. So we'll start with a bicep curl on the preacher. And then after the preacher curls, I'm thinking of just doing maybe just a single arm cable curl of some kind to hit the bicep again. Those are typically just me grabbing onto the rack, grabbing a cable with a handle and just wrenching that thing up towards me for a couple of sets. And that feels really good. I don't know why. It looks kind of goofy. Looks like I'm just playing around with the cables, but it feels good for me. But after we hit the bicep, we will be moving on to hammer curls, which in a sense are, you know, in the overarching idea of hitting it an arm day, you know, you would say, oh, I'm doing hammer curls for my bicep, but they're actually hitting the muscle underneath your bicep, brachialis. So it does contribute to the overall look of the bicep, but really it's a completely different muscle underneath. And it just makes your bicep look wider and pushes the bicep out. So for that, we've been doing hammer curls, and I'll do these isolated as well. If you can isolate a movement, isolate the movement. So I will just set up a probably like a bench of some kind or hop on a preacher curl machine and do single arm isolated curls like that. Now, moving on to triceps, the main shebang, we're going to be doing skull crushers to start out. Now, like I said, if I were to be starting with triceps, I would not start with skull crushers just because skull crushers freaking suck. They wrench them elbows. So now that I've started with biceps, moving on to triceps or moving on to skull crushers will feel good. My elbows should be feeling fine. Now, my shoulders are a little tight from barbell benching the other day, but I think I'm going to be just fine as long as I, do some proper warm up. But after the skull crushers, we'll move on to, I'm thinking just a regular rope push down. I've been liking going back to the basics, just doing a rope push down. And after that, man, something for the outside of the tricep. That can typically look like just some dips, maybe a close grip bench. I'll even sometimes do just like a longer rope. I'll do like two ropes combined together and do like a hard, not only squeeze down, but also squeeze out with a longer rope, and that helps me feel on the outside of my tricep. So that's gonna be our arm workout for the day. Now, the pre-workout meal, not totally ideal. Haven't ate a bunch of food today, but we had a Built bar not too long ago, and also a Phorm bar. Link to Phorm is down below if you guys want to find where I get those. So that's gonna start our workout. Let's go ahead and get in there. All right, currently editing this video right now. I want to take a little moment to chill and ask you guys, to like the video if you haven't already. We're gonna sit here and wait a second while you guys do that. Bro, look at all these cookies my girlfriend has. Just sitting in here next to me working. All right, thanks for liking. Back to the video. Look how dope that hat is. Woo. All right, so first set of preacher curls. 3 sets here, I think I said I would do. Now on these, I don't like to go too heavy right off the bat just because it's a risky movement. So yes, it is the first working set, but it's not like as heavy as I plan on going on those last 2. Or I guess the next 2. Now in these, sometimes I'll look pretty goofy because I won't even sit on the bench or seat. I'll move all the way down and kind of get into like a lunge position. So like my armpits are like up in the corner of this pad. I don't know why, it just feels a little better to be able to tuck my head and squeeze harder. Last set here. I think I might do a drop here. We'll do a drop and then really squeeze hard up and over the head. All right, so like I said, these just look like I'm playing around the gables. Almost like they look like I'm warming up, but I actually like them because it's kind of like a stretch across the body and you can kind of tuck that elbow, really wrench it up towards your like ear here. Oh. Oh, my default when it hurts is to laugh. Hammer curls now. Now typically in hammer curls, I could probably go up to 55, 60s, maybe even more if I'm getting a little crazy with it. But when you isolate it, it's a little more strict. So we got 30s here. I'm really focused on like bringing the head of that dumbbell up into my shoulder. Come on. 2 more. Two more. Yep. Yep. All right. I actually saw this over here. This little contraption. So got some hammer grips on here. I'll do it. Probably just burn out in these. Throw some nickels on there. 2, 3, 2, 2. Not going far. We'll just go right here and do skull crushers now. All right, so in these I like to do like almost like Bob's half reps and then a hard squeeze. So I'll do like 5 half reps and then a squeeze. I don't know why, but I think it's more of a time under tension thing. Like, you know, typically with just skull crushers, you just kind of bouncing it up and that rest at the top is so short. So we'll go ahead and hold it there. Oh, just feeling a little weird on my left side. It's been super tight from hitting flat bench the other day, which I usually don't do. And I just kind of tweaked it. So this might be the last set of these because I think that stretch overhead is kind of agitating it. Ooh. Three more. Just have no weight. Oh. Okay. Second to last workout. 3 sets of these. Two more. 5 more. Thinking one more workout, maybe 4 or 5 reps or 4 or 5 sets of it, just because we are trying to prioritize the triceps a little more. So we'll do, what would that be? 3 here, 3 there, plus 5 would be whatever that math is. All right, for the outside of the tricep, go ahead and do some close grip. Now with the chest feeling a little tweaked, not sure how it's going to feel, but I think it's the best way to load the outside of the tricep. You can do dips and you can even do like cross-body dumbbell sort of extensions, like laying down like that. But I think it's just harder to load it. Whereas this, yeah, you're kind of incorporating other muscle groups, but you're also loading it so much more. It's almost like doing a rear delt pec deck versus doing like heavy rows. You know, you're still hitting the rear delts except with a little more load and maybe incorporating a couple more muscle groups. Come on. Almost fell. All right, so that's gonna wrap up the workout. In and out in like 30 minutes. Besides that little hiccup right with the triceps, everything, or with the chest, everything else went pretty well. I think my triceps have grown tremendously just from doing skull crushers, just because it's so much load. And you saw the reps, like they're not pretty reps. They're sort of like 3/4 reps, but something about just loading the weight up. And I think the same goes for like bicep curls. Don't be afraid to do some heavy bicep curls, even if they're not pretty. I think that tension at the bottom, stretching that bicep, or the tension at the bottom of, you know, heavy skull crushers is just such a gnarly stretch that I think you're getting something out of it. But there's something to doing, you know, a light stretching, more controlled rep, and then also something to just throwing some weight around, because I think the tension is pretty beneficial as well. So I've been sweating my balls off in here. Got somewhat of a chest pump from those close grip. Front double is not really where I want it. My shoulders are so tight, like rotating back is not ideal right now. But that's gonna wrap up today's workout. I hope you guys enjoyed the moto intro. Hope you guys enjoyed and hopefully got something away from it. If you got any critiques or anything or advice, or you want to drop your opinion down below in the comments, go ahead and do so. All the links, everything down below. My Christian clothing company. You guys saw me wearing it earlier on the ride here. Our new striped shirt's coming out soon. So go check that out at Withdraw Outdoors, link down below. Link to coaching is down below as well. If you want to be coached by myself, I help Christian men lose 20 pounds in 90 days. But check all those out if you guys want. I love you guys. Remember to love God, lift weights, live life. Peace and love.